you know, I hear people say, you know, in the background, oh, he think he's going to the pros, he think he's going to do this. And some people I really had a lot of trust in who happen to be Christian, you know, who happen to be good people, you know, say, well, he's not big enough, he's not, you know, he's not strong enough, he you know, his dream, he's not going to achieve.
So back in the 70s, there were haters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I thought that was just a new thing. So the haters were way back then.
Yeah, that was, and I mean, it was hurtful, but it was motivating. You know, it was challenging.
Who did you talk to about this? Was it always Mr. Jones? For young persons watching and they're saying, you know what, I don't have a Mr. Jones.
Well, I think that Mr. Jones is out there. You know, Denzel Washington always talks about Billy Thomas. My Billy Thomas was James Jones, you know, I talked to Mr. Jones, you know, about everything. You know, when I was trying to make the transition on how I was going to deal with young ladies and stuff like that, and how I was going to balance between education, school, you know, and girls.
Do you ever have a feeling of deja vu? And I know we're jumping all over the place, but Lowe's, I've heard so many great things in this brief interview. It's almost like I'm at a buffet and I get to choose where I want to go.
Right.
So I appreciate you following with me. Do you ever have deja vu when you walk through the door? Because everything that I'm hearing that you're saying isn't something that's on a piece of paper. It's inside of you. These decisions have helped cultivate who you are.
Right.
So when you walk through the door, do you ever feel like, you know what, I'm kind of like James Jones and I want to give back? Is that thought on your mind? You ever feel like, wow, I'm actually doing what was done for me?
Yes, I actually feel like that the men who have come in my life have been mentors, coaches, teachers, and a lot of women as well. But you know, particularly, you know, the focus is on the men, and so I wanted to be like Mr. Jones, because he said the most important thing for me was not how much money I made or whether or not I made it to the NBA. He used to always tell us as young men that the most important thing you could ever do in your life is to give it back.
Wow.
You know, and so, you know, coming back here, I'm actually fulfilling something that he spoke, you know, and I'm actually doing the same thing he was doing. And I think, you know, Denzel's book that he wrote, A Hand to Guide Me, you know, which he addresses about 38 successful people. And they talk about the one person that came in and gave them guidance.
Let me ask you, I'm going to stick with that vein. You are fortunate to have grown up with Denzel Washington. And I'm sure being in this community and just being closer to the man than most, that's got to include some pressure. I just think that there's been a divine intervention on your life because the one that's entrusted with so many things has the capacity to regulate them. And I hope that the young people that watch you realize that the relationships that they have need to be guarded and trusted, and trust is earned, and trust is something that is needed for a healthy relationship. And then they see you with all the success that you have, and you're very modest. You know, to come from being left back in the 7th grade, from having an adversity in your childhood with the domestic abuse that you've spoken of, to actually know that you're wanting to go to college and basketball is your passion, and to find out in high school that you're still not qualified academically, but you did everything you needed to do. What's next for Lowe's board?
Well, with the Boys Club, I would like to actually see, next year we'll be celebrating 99 years in our countdown to 100. With the Boys and Girls Club, I envision, when I was a little kid, the Boys Club was basically new, state of the art, you know. I envision that as we go forward to see a new state of the art Boys and Girls Club with everything a kid would need in order to sustain grow, and from gyms to technology centers to drama. I grew up, there was a wood shop, print shop. Now it's computers and technology, music studios, drama, areas for drama, dance. I envision, vocational, be able to learn vocational things, certification, young people that are gonna think about being junior police and junior firemen and paramedics, and pick up life skills and that will help them be successful in the future, and to really physically see the club grow.
It sounds as if you're wanting the club to grow in a healthy manner with the way multimedia is growing now on the outside, and that's going to take funding. Nothing happens without a dollar. In ministry, more money, more ministry.
Yes.
With the Boys Club, it's going to take some people, some volunteers, and some money. So what I'd like you to do is look in that camera and tell the potential sponsor or donor why the Boys Club is good ground to sow their seed.
Well, it's a great ground. First of all, I'm one of, hundreds of young men and young women who come through organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs, and their lives have been changed. It's an alternative to the street.
Let them know the percentage of what goes on as far as athletics, mentorship, and everything else, after school tutoring. What percentage is sports and what percentage is mentoring and everything else?
I think that probably, I would say the club is probably 25% sports, recreation, social recreation, but they are only carrots. I wouldn't have got an education if it wasn't for sports. Some people only want to give things towards education, and we should. But most kids don't come to the club because they want to get educated. They want to come to the club because they want to have fun. They want to have a good time. That's the reason I came, because I could play pool, ping pong, checkers, chess. I could play basketball, football, kickball, and do a lot of recreational things. But in the midst of doing those recreational things, I found an education. In the midst of doing those recreational things in the Boys Club, I found God. So there's so many strong attributes to the Boys and Girls Club. But don't just look at it as a recreational facility. Look at it as, I always say, that people change not because of programs, but because of people. And the people at the Boys and Girls Club, the staff at the Boys and Girls Club, the volunteers at the Boys and Girls Club, have developed relationships with so many young people, and in turn change their life. So I think that's the critical part of the reason why we need Boys and Girls Clubs and organizations like it. For me, it was just as important, to graduate from high school as it was to get a scholarship to play basketball. I was able to accomplish something I know that I didn't think I was capable of, but because of the people around me. We graduated 999 kids. I was number 38.
Wow.
And so...
Stop. You were left back in the 7th grade. Mm-hmm. Number 38 means you were the 38th most learned person in that class. You achieved the 38th percentile grade out of 999 people. You were way up there.
Oh yeah.
That's phenomenal. Continue.
And being able to receive over 300 or more scholarship offers, to play basketball across the country.
Wow.
And I ended up selecting West Virginia, North Carolina, because I was originally from North Carolina State, because David Thompson went there, recruited by UCLA, Notre Dame, and so to have that happen to me was a tremendous pleasure.